उपयुक्त निवेशकों और भागीदारों को खोजने के लिए यह एक आदर्श स्थान होगा। और इसी कड़ी में हमारे दूसरे सत्र का शुभारंभ करते हुए मैं वर्चुअली हमारे साथ जुड़ेंगे हमारे पहले विशिष्ट अतिथि मनु श्रीवास्तव जी। सर, आप हमें सुन पा रहे हैं?
मैं तो सुन पा रहा हूँ, आपको आवाज़ ठीक आ रही है क्या?
जी।
थैंक यू।
हमारे मध्य उपस्थित हैं वर्चुअली श्री मनु श्रीवास्तव जी। आप वर्तमान में प्रिंसिपल सेक्रेटरी हैं मध्य प्रदेश गवर्नमेंट न्यू एंड रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी डिपार्टमेंट। Our distinguished guest has 30 years of work experience. He has worked for 15 years in energy sector, namely natural gas, electricity, and renewable energy. He has led path-breaking innovative projects in the field of solar energy. His 750 megawatt Viva project has proved to be an inflection point in the history of solar energy in India. It was the first project in the country to provide solar energy at rates lower than coal-based power. I consider it great honor to invite Shri Manu Srivastava ji virtually to speak on the topic opportunities in renewable energy sector. Sir, the stage is all yours. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Firstly, I must thank Singrauli and especially the district collector for inviting me to speak to all of you. I must add that I have had the privilege of having worked with Rajiv in the field of renewable energy. We have worked together. So he shares a lot passion and interest that I have in the sector. Firstly, I would just like to say that very often renewable energy is seen as a very noble goal, which it is. It is good for global warming. We see the impact of global warming all around us. It manifests itself not only in the hot summer that we see this time, but more in terms of the uncertainty in weather. We have seen extreme cold events. We have seen snow in those parts of America where there has never been snow. We have seen forest fires much more than earlier in Australia, in Turkey, in US. And even in India, we have seen that the monsoon is not what it used to be. Earlier, there were 3-4 months of monsoon. Now there are short bursts of very high rainfall, like Bangalore and Assam had a few weeks back, 1,000% of the annual of the daily rainfall. So it manifests itself in extreme weather events. But the more important thing is that while renewable energy is perhaps a noble goal, but it is also an economically viable option now. Now, when you are going in for renewable energy, it is not that you are making an economic sacrifice. Now, renewable energy is actually cheaper than coal-based conventional sources. We have had the privilege in Madhya Pradesh of setting up the first project in India, which brought down the prices of solar power below that of coal-based power. If I could suggest, if others there can mute their phones, perhaps because I can feel there is an echo in the voice. तो अगर बाकी लोग म्यूट कर लें तो मेरे ख्याल से शायद वो इको खत्म हो जाएगा. So what I was saying was that Madhya Pradesh has the privilege of setting up the first project in India which brought down the price of coal, solar power below that of coal. This is a project not too far off from Singrauli in Riva. When Government of India companies were giving a subsidy to achieve a tariff of rupees 4.5 per unit, in Riva we got a first year tariff of below 3 rupees and without any subsidy. And it is a matter of privilege for anyone from Madhya Pradesh that This project is supplying power to Delhi Metro, and 60% of the daytime power of Delhi Metro is from this project in Viva. So the learning really for perhaps Singrauli could be that there are so many power producers there, conventional power producers, who could set up solar projects in lands, overburdened land that they have at very low rate. This can be both using the funds that these companies have. For example, Coal India Limited, there is Reliance. So there are many power producers. There is NTPC, and all of these producers have interest in renewable energy now. So there are vacant areas, coal overburden areas, and other areas that these companies have. These projects can be set up in two modes. If these companies want to invest their money, they can, because some of them, especially Coal India Limited, has resources that they want to deploy in renewable energy. But even otherwise, there are large number of developers who are very keen to invest in such projects. And the idea would be that they would invest and they would sell power to you. There is a lot of captive requirement of power that each one of these have. There is Coal India, uh, for example, even running a conventional power plant needs energy. So that can come from solar, and it could also be sold to other consumers. So both the options are possible. That these companies can have their own investment, or they could invite private investment. As far as private investment is concerned, I can share that there are large number of investors and developers internationally who are very keen to set up solar projects. The reason is that once you set up a solar project and there is a reliable power purchase agreement. When I say reliable, it is important because the developer should be assured of returns from the investment for around 25 years or the period of the PPA. So the reliability of the customer, the payment security guarantee is extremely important. But if that is guaranteed, large number of investors and developers are very keen on solar projects. The reason being that in the case of solar, you have a lot of requirement of initial capital investment, but there is hardly any uncertainty later. If you maintain the project, which is not too difficult, if you clean the project, which is not too difficult, then you have a steady income source. So there are large number of investors who are keen on such projects. There are pension funds, there are sovereign funds, there are multilateral funds, which are keen on projects where there is very low uncertainty, very little uncertainty, and they can have a steady revenue stream. Such investors very often have funds deployed at zero rate of interest, at even negative rate of interest. So if there are projects that India or Indian companies can offer, where the payment security is addressed, where the uncertainties are addressed, where they feel investors and developers feel that it is a safe investment, they can offer power at extremely low rates. So the trick or mm, the game really is how to set up projects where the risk or the uncertainty is addressed. This is what we had done in Riva, which enabled us to get low rates. How it can be done is subject matter of a longer discussion, but broadly speaking, there are just a few points. I would not take more than a minute or two talking about that, because today's format does not allow for more time than that. Basically, you have to prepare the project well, let know the developer that where is the land, how much land is available, uh, the evacuation situation, who would be the procurer, how would the procurer pay. The other is that the contractual terms have to be very clear, very clearly defined. And then the contractual terms have to be such that the investor risk is sufficiently mitigated. So these are broadly the things that need to be done. There is one more aspect that I like to talk about, is that if these companies want to invest their own funds, there could also be a mix of both these models, in which our companies invest 26%. then that would be called a captive power project, and they purchase all the power, or at least 51%. In this model, 26% has to come from the company, 74% can come from the developers, who would invest the 76%, 74% money, who would operate, maintain everything about the project. This could be another model. And in this, in case there is wheeling of power, etc., then the cross subsidy surcharge and additional surcharge are not applicable in the captive model. Another project that is possible is a rooftop solar project. Any organization would have a lot of rooftop capacity. So you can set up rooftop. Rooftop again can be done in both the modes. You can put your own money, or you can have the developer mode, where the developer comes, makes all the investment, operates the project, and supplies power to you. I seem to prefer the developer mode. The reason being that very often it is not possible for public sector companies to maintain projects very well. But if you think that is not a challenge, you can do both. So the developer mode has the advantage that you have to make zero investment, and you're making savings from day one, and you're not bothered about the regular O&M, the cleaning, etc. But if you feel that the O&M, cleaning, and initial investment is not a challenge, then that is also a wonderful option, that you can invest your resources and set up a rooftop project. In rooftop project, again, the power has to be procured by you. The rooftop is allowed, if you want net metering, it is allowed only till a smaller capacity of around 500 kilowatt. But if you are using it entirely internally, that is, there is no export ever, and use it entirely internally, then a large number of companies have gone in for much bigger projects. The guidelines are actually silent about it, but I know companies who have set up 3, 4, 5 megawatt projects, rooftop projects, where they consume all the power internally, and there is no export ever. The guidelines don't disallow it. I think I would have these initial thoughts. If there anything that any one of you is interested, then I'd be more than happy to discuss further. Your collector, Mr. Rajiv Rajan Meena, is anyway, he's expert in renewable energy, who's presently a field posting. But I'm also available all the time. But I would like to summarize by saying that by investing in renewable energy, you tick both the boxes. The first is you're doing something that's environmentally good, and the second is that you are doing something that is economically beneficial to you. We are at now a confluence where renewable energy addresses both economic viability and environmental considerations. हम उस मुकाम पे हैं जहाँ पे हम environmental और economic दोनों boxes को टिक कर रहे हैं, दोनों considerations को meet कर रहे हैं. So हम लोग अभी एक ऐसी जगह पे हैं जहाँ पे दो चीजें हैं, एक अपनी pocket और एक अपना heart. We are ticking both of them. We are ticking the box of our pocket and the box of our heart, and they can't be beautiful, more better place than that. There are a lot of areas in climate change which are still not economically viable. For example, carbon capture. It is good for the climate, but it is not economically viable still. The same is true for green hydrogen. It is not economically viable still. The same is true of battery storage. Extremely good, but still not completely economically viable. It is possible that 2-3 years down the line or lesser, battery storage and green hydrogen also cross the limit of economic viability. But at least renewable energy, solar energy, as we speak, is economically viable today. So it is an economically prudent decision to go in for renewable energy, whatever be the nature of project that is possible for you. A ground-mounted big project. It could be a project on open access if your project is located somewhere else and you want to wheel the power through the grid system.
or a rooftop project, whatever be the nature of the project. It could even be a project in your residence. If you have a project in your residence, you save money. So whatever be the nature of the project, uh, you are doing something for the good of the environment and you are saving money. I would wish and hope that the summit today is extremely useful and the initiative taken by the district administration helps you to think along these lines and move ahead in these lines. If there is any role that I personally or government of Madhya Pradesh can play in facilitating such projects, I would be personally very happy, and I'm sure the government of Madhya Pradesh would also be very happy. These are commitments that Indian government, that our Honorable Prime Minister have made in COP26. But it is not the individual responsibility of the Honorable Prime Minister or the government of India. These initiatives, these responsibilities are responsibilities that are shared by all of us. All of us, whatever organization we are a part of, whatever we are doing in our personal capacity, I think it's our joint responsibility to fulfill those commitments. Those commitments are not only of the Honorable Prime Minister, those are commitments on behalf of India. And as an Indian, I think it's our responsibility to fulfill them. I am wishing you the best for today's summit and for beautiful, sustainable, uh, continued development and growth of Singrauli. Thanks.
Thank you, sir, for connecting to us virtually and sharing your valuable inputs. हमारे मध्य उपस्थित हैं विशिष्ट अतिथि श्री नागेश नारी शेट्टी. आप वर्तमान में सीईओ हैं रेणुकूट क्लस्टर हिंडाल्को इंडस्ट्रीज लिमिटेड. Our distinguished guest is a project and operations professional having 35 years
आप
of
म्यूट पे हैं मैम, you're on
experience.
mute.
Our next speaker is Shri Nagesh Nari Shetty, CEO, Renukut Cluster, Hindalco Industries Limited. Our distinguished guest is a project and operations professional having 35 years of experience in different projects and business, currently serving as business head of large complex from mines, plants, and associated infrastructure. I consider it my great honor to welcome Shri Nagesh Nari Shetty to enlighten us on the dais. He'll be here with us in few moments. Our speaker will be with us in few moments. We have our next dignitary, The next dignitary to honor us with her presence is Ms. Sushila Tiwari. She is business head strategist. She is business development strategist, Sagar Asia. Our distinguished guest has almost 2 decades of career that spans across profiles in various countries across the globe in the areas of marketing, brand building, and business development. She has worked in diverse sectors in IT, e-sourcing, procurement, advertising, fashion, trading of minerals and metals, as well as education. She is currently working with Sagar Asia, an aluminium engineering company, strategizing its global growth while supporting MSME sectors in India. I consider it my great honor to welcome Ms. Sushila Tiwari, ma'am. And please welcome. Just give me a few minutes.
Yeah. MP, okay, I'm audible. MP has a very special place in my heart. Simply because our education started from here. My papa was in army, he was transferred here, and this is where our education started. And I think it's my privilege and probably it's my karma that I'm back here to present something and contribute to this stage, to the people. And I would really like to thank all the dignitaries, especially the district collector, Mr. Rajiv Meena, who invited me for this landmark opportunity. So before I present, I would like you to go through this video and then I'll start. So that's just a glimpse of who we are. Let me start with the safety standards, the topic that I chose to speak about today, a topic that has been ignored for a long time. Can we have the presentation, please? A topic that is very, very important to me, and I believe to everyone who's affected with that. That is industrial safety. Next. Moving on, please move to the next slide. So we are going to talk about the sector that is totally unregulated. I won't say totally, but it is unregulated. And what are the competitor substandard products that are already available in the market and how we can standardize this system. So the problem as of today is, as you all know, the low importance of workplace and general safety. This is always ignored in most of the industrial environment and even at home. I won't be surprised, and I'm not actually not going to hide it, that even at home we do not practice safety. We have lack of updated standards which are not updated regularly. We have very low cost of labor life, unfortunately. And that is something that we need to address. We need to make it important that we take safety as an important factor at every workplace, at even home. Importance, why does the standard suffer? Okay, this one, right? Why the standards suffer is because we don't have a reporting system. We don't have a system that tells us how many people have had accident just because not following safety standards, be it home, be it outside. So these are the currently existing norms that people use. They are not safe, they are not standard, they are not good quality products. They are substandards products that are existing in the market. It's for us to realize what is important, what is safe, and we actually let this happen. Even today, it's 2022, and we are still using bamboo ladders. The unsafe products, the safety here is totally compromised in every place. Now the concerns is, what are the safety measures that we can take? What is it that is plaguing our society? We have number of accidents, numerous accidents happening at workplaces which go unreported. Many of them don't come into any reports, or even police complaint is not done. Many accidents at home are lost because they think it's not an accident. Some of these accidents are of course fatal. Some of them lead to permanent impairment in people. And unfortunately, these people, even if they go and fight for their rights, their life is gone in courts, not at home. Now, this is very, very important as a country, as people, that we all take care of these issues, ensure safety for our people. They are our people, right? Now, what we intend to do is, first of all, we know all these acts, which are very, very old. They need to be updated, for which we, Sagar Asia as a company, are working with Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh and the Labor Ministry to come up with laws that can be implemented into industrial safety. Please don't hate me for that. So these laws need to be changed. But the positive side is that the MNCs today take it as an important factor. They look into safety measures, and they actually want to buy standardized products. So now let me introduce you to Sagar Asia, a company that is about 40 years old with 150-year man experience because of the brands, the quality that we associate with. This is what we bring from the height of 2 feet, that is domestic ladders, to 400 feet industrial ladders. And when I talk about ladders, it's not just ladders. They are access equipments, right from scaffoldings, wind tower internals, to aviation docks. Our research and development team works constantly towards providing the best safety products. We follow all the standards of safety, right from American, ANSI, EN, and Australian. So we have as a company, we have the capability in terms of technology to provide products that follow or confirm the safety norms around the world. So I'll take you very quickly through the range of products that we have, the wind tower internals and lifts. For that, we have household, commercial, and professional ladders, equipments for the aviation docks for MRO, extrusions, aluminum scaffolds to reach as much height as you want, we have manufacturing. These are the brands that we associate with. These are the brands we have joint venture partners with to take their technology not just all over India, but also across other parts of the world, developing countries. And this is the standard that we have. These are the standards we follow. These are the quality of products we bring to India. These are the standards that we follow. It's an international standard, and we want India also to follow some standards that can ensure safety of our labor and, of course, people. Moving on, the reason why I came here is to showcase a business opportunity which can be implemented for the first generation entrepreneurs. Our MD, Mr. Vidyasagar, is a first generation entrepreneur, and he knows the problems that we face while setting up an MSME. And what he intends to do is support more entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, into MSME businesses which can create employment in India, and of course be able to be part of a systemized culture that can help them run a sustainable business. So we have our ladders, which is called Eurostar, a DIY ladder, for which the technology we are giving at as low cost as the person can start a business at just 24 lakhs. As a company, we make an investment of 76 lakhs in terms of technology and machinery. We handhold you to the business. We have the capacity to buy back the products. We help you promote the products, and we help you run a sustainable business. The products and everything, all the operations business remains in your hand. Our intention is to make you more and more independent. As a company, we want you to succeed, and we want you to run a sustainable business and be able to help us go global. How? Because these are the ladders, these are the products used on at home as well as industrial. So these products are not only used in India but also exported. So we want you to join us hands in supplying these products across India and globally. Apart from this, you also get an opportunity to distribute our other products and services. So from Liberty and other ladders, you also have opportunity to go for wind tower servicing. You have all the ladders at your disposal to be able to sell them as distributors. So there's a huge opportunity waiting for you, and I'm here throughout the day. So please feel free to reach out to me and ask more questions. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope this is worth your time. I've been able to justify it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable inputs. I would like to request SDM Singrauli, Ms. Sampada Saraf, ma'am, to please come on stage and felicitate our guest, Ms. Sushila Tiwari, ma'am. I'll request SDM Singrauli, Ms. Sampada Saraf ma'am, to felicitate our guest, Ms. Sushila Tiwari, with a memento. Should we continue? The next speaker that we have amongst us is Shri Nagesh Nadi Shetty. आप वर्तमान में CEO हैं रेणुकूट क्लस्टर हिंडाल्को इंडस्ट्रीज लिमिटेड के. Our distinguished guest is a project and operations professional having 35 years of experience in different projects and business, currently serving as business head of large complex from mines, plants, and associated infrastructure. I consider it my great honor to welcome Shri Nagesh Nadi Shetty to enlighten us on the dais. Welcome, sir. The stage is all yours.
Good afternoon, friends. First of all, a big congratulations to the summit team. They have done a wonderful job. Especially the morning session was very interactive and a very learning session. I am delighted to interact with the esteemed group on behalf of Hindalco Industries Limited, part of the multi-ethnic and multi-competency Aditya Birla Group operating in 36 countries in diverse business functions. We are one of the largest aluminum rolling companies and one of the biggest producers of primary aluminum in Asia. We have been associated with Singrauli district since 2007 and have put 3.8 lakhs per annum aluminum smelter, which is a greenfield project, namely Mahan Aluminum, along with 900 megawatt power plant at Bargwan village in Essar block of the district. Our land acquisition survey work started since 2007 and the groundbreaking ceremony was held in 9 July 2009. In spite of the great challenges which greenfield projects face in terms of land acquisition, rehabilitation and resettlement, with the robust support of the district and MP state administration, we were able to achieve our first metal out in the year 2013. And then there is no looking back. Today Mahan Aluminium is producer of one of the purest forms of primary aluminum in the entire world. I have worked across geographies in many states and is very well aware of the mega challenges and hindrances faced by greenfield projects and the local resistance they face in each stage of execution. But in case of Mahan Aluminum, the government has worked hand in hand and provided shoulder to shoulder support consistently. The people of Madhya Pradesh, especially Singrauli district, are very warm in their approach and offer high skilled technical basket in every sphere. Subsequently, we have one of the finest technical training centers near Vaidan, Singrauli ITI based at Pachor. Singrauli is very well connected through railways, wherein Bargwan is also having full-fledged railway station and road connectivity is also wonderful. Varanasi airport is just in near proximity by road, as well as Jabalpur and Bhopal airport in few hours distance. Additionally, as you are aware, Mayarpur is also coming up with an airport. Last but not the least, Singrauli is the power capital of India, where the coal is mined abundantly. In the current scenario of power deficit in the entire world and geopolitical conditions, to based at the coal hub is a great advantage. With that, I thank you all and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insights. I now request GMDIC Shri A.R. Mansoori, sir, to please come on stage and felicitate our guest with a memento and a bouquet. हमारे मध्य उपस्थित हैं विशिष्ट अतिथि श्री सेंथिल नाथ. He is the unit head and president smelter Hindalco Industries Limited. Our distinguished guest is a proud recipient of Aditya Birla Group Chairman's Exceptional Contributor Award 2018. A seasoned aluminium professional with more than 20 years of experience, he was instrumental in development of 2 premium grade primary aluminium metal which has been currently produced only at Hindalco in the country. I consider it my great honor to welcome Shri Senthil Nath on the stage to enlighten us on the topic investment opportunity in developing aluminium cluster in Singrauli. Welcome. Welcome, sir. The stage is all yours.
So, good afternoon everybody. First of all, on behalf of Aditya Birla Group and Hindalco Industries Limited, Mahan Aluminium, I thank the district administration, especially our DM, Mr. Meena, and also the dignitaries who are there today, our Member of Parliament, Mr. Didi Pathak, our Vidayak, Mr. Lalu Ramji, Mr. Devsarka MLA, Mr. Subhash Vermaji, and all the district administration, and also the organizers of this investors meet for giving us a wonderful opportunity to present today about our company Hindalco and the opportunities that are available in the aluminium industry for small scale industries and entrepreneurs to venture into this industry. So thank you very much. I will start about talking about Hindalco Industries Limited, Mahan Aluminium. So we have a wonderful purpose at Hindalco, which says that we manufacture materials that make the world greener, stronger and smarter. And this indicates that the whole purpose is defined by our values and the governing principles by which the Aditya Birla Group and Hindalco operates. So the purpose states that we make materials that make the world greener, stronger and smarter. Today, to talk about the Aditya Birla Group, Aditya Birla Group is a US $48 billion corporation, a Fortune 500 company led by our chairman, Mr. Kumaramangalam Birla. And Aditya Birla Group is globally the first in aluminium rolling across the world. We are also first in viscous staple fiber, first in carbon black, and among the top 4 cement companies in the world. Apart from that, we are also the 3rd largest producer of insulators and 5th largest producer of acrylic fiber in the world. Hindalco, coming to Hindalco, Hindalco is the leading industry leader in aluminium and copper in the country with a turnover of around $17 billion US. It's also the world's largest aluminum company and one of Asia's biggest producer of primary aluminum. The copper smelter is one of the world's largest custom smelter at a single location in Gujarat. And we have our footprint in 13 countries across the world. Hindalco's aluminum is accepted for delivery under the high-grade aluminum contract of the London Metal Exchange. We sell our products in different names. Like in extrusion, we sell in the name of Eternia, Max Loader, and in the FRP, we sell in the name of Everlast, and foils, we sell in the name of Fresh Wrap and Super Wrap. And in the copper, we also have the fertilizer in the name called Billa Balwan. Some of the key customers of India across the world are Glencore, Boeing, flights, which Boeing is the company which makes the flight, and the flights use our own aluminum, which is produced in Hindalco. Hyundai and Mitsubishi. And in the domestic industry, the major customers are Appar Industries, KEI, Technovo, and TTK Prestige. Just to talk about a small introduction of Hindalco's Mahan Aluminium, located at Bargaon in Singrauli. We are the highest operating current amperage with a 371 kA. We produce the purest aluminum in the world, 99.92%. ये गर्व की बात है, जो दुनिया में एल्युमिनियम बन रहे हैं, इसमें 3 ही कंपनी है कि इसका हाईएस्ट प्योरिटी ऑफ एल्युमिनियम बनाता है. इसमें एक रुसाल में है, दूसरा दुबई में है और तीसरे इंडिया में है. और इंडिया में हमारी जो मिट्टी है सिंगरौली में है. We export around 50% of our products to 24 countries from Singrauli. And as I said, we have 4 different products: ingot, sow, billet, and wire rod. So Mahan was initially, we had an agreement with the government of Madhya Pradesh in 2006. The project consists of 3.2 lakh tons of aluminium metal and 900 megawatt of captive power plant. The construction work of Mahan started with a Bhumi Pujan on 9th July 2009, and our commercial production started in 2013. We achieved our full production in 2015, and we have a land of around 3,350 acres. We had a wonderful resettlement and rehabilitation program for the the person who gave us the land. We have a wonderful colony at our nearby village called Majgua, where we have built around 200 houses, and all those people who are given the land have been well settled, and we take care of their school, education, hospital, everything. This is one of the best resettlement and rehabilitation in the Madhya Pradesh state. We take our coal from nearby NCL, and we have a 900 megawatt power plant, and we get a water from our Gopat river, which is 40 kilometers from our plant. And we have our own township, hospital, and market for the employees. So we have latest technology features in our plant, which is all mostly from European countries like Alpinium Pechini. We have the Alpsys system, we have the anode beam raising frame, completely automated pot tending machine, and the gas treatment centers, so that we ensure that we don't pollute the atmosphere, and we also have work as a responsible citizen for the country. So the major products, as I said, are ingot, sow, billet, and wire rod. And in the ingot, we have produced the purest aluminum like 0303 and 0404. So coming to the opportunities in the aluminum industry, so as I said, we produce wire rod mills. So these wire rods gets converted into cables and strips. So people who would like to further put some new industries, they can take our products, and we can help them technically also, so that they can put some rod breakdown mills to use our wire rods for manufacturing cables and conductors. They can also produce winding strip and anodizing plant to use our wire rods. Packing materials, like we need packing materials for packing these materials which we produce. So they can also be some suppliers to us. And opportunities in the billet. So billet is generally used to produce extruded products like window frames and all those things. So we can put some extrusion plants, we can put some machine shops with CNC machine and heat treatment facilities, powder coating facilities on extruded sections and rolled products. So some more opportunities that exist like auto components, bus windows, flooring and structural ornaments and accessories, windows, door sections, bus bars for control panels, tubular bus bars for switch yards, hydraulic pumps, pressure cookers, vessels, aerospace and defense components. We can also ready to look for suppliers who can give us like bearings and lubricants, safety items for the whole manufacturing hub, fly ash utilization and pond ash utilization, because we generate around 4,000 tons of fly ash per day. We also ready to supply our fly ash for the manufacture of fly ash bricks, landfilling, road constructions. Refractory manufacturing plants also can come up, which we use around 20,000 tons of refractory bricks every year. So talking about the people development across this industry, as we said, we are given jobs to around 4,000 people nearby our plants, and these people have just moved from a farmer to now to a skilled technician. So we have our own stimulators, and now they are operating the state-of-the-art technology, which is like an aircraft. So this is what Hindalco has offered the people in this region by converting them from a small farmer to now a highly graded skilled technician. So this is all about our presentation on Mahan's side. Thank you very much. Again, once again, I'd like to thank our district administration for giving us this opportunity to showcase our case. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable inputs. I request Mansoori, sir, to please present the guest with a memento.
थैंक यू सेंथिल सर. नेक्स्ट सेशन IIT BHU से प्रोफेसर जहीर खान सर और प्रोफेसर मेघांशु वसीर सर का रहेगा. और टॉपिक है, क्योंकि सिंगरौली हैवी इंडस्ट्रीज़ का पूरा हब है, मेनली जब हम बात करें माइंस का, थर्मल पावर प्लांट्स, स्मेल्टर और दूसरी इंडस्ट्रीज़, तो यहाँ पे रिपेयर टेक्नोलॉजीज़ की जब बात करते हैं, वेल्डिंग या क्लैडिंग से रिलेटेड, तो उसमें क्या क्या स्कोप है, बिजनेस अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ क्या हैं, तो इसी पे प्रेजेंटेशन है प्रोफेसर जहीर खान सर और प्रोफेसर मेघांशु वसीर सर. प्लीज़ सर.
A very good afternoon to all the respected dignitaries and guests from MSMEs, my colleagues from IIT BHU and other industries. Today I am going to talk about the investment opportunities for MSMEs in repair work of large components like heavy earth moving machineries, power plant equipments, etc. I am Zahir. I am Zahir from Department of Mechanical Engineering along with my colleague Dr. Meghanshu Vashisht. Next please. Operations and maintenance are a very important component for any running industry, and it includes all the activities that are carried out to make sure that the components run in a proper fashion. Good maintenance practice can lead to cost saving and should be considered as a big resource. There are several types of maintenance that or maintenance practices that are followed. Of course, the first and the foremost is the preventive maintenance, ensuring that the problem is identified at a regular inspection and fixed before they actually occur. Next is the condition based maintenance, where equipment parameters are monitored and any irregular behavior in those patterns can predict that some failure is going to occur and preventive actions can be taken. Similarly, there is a predictive maintenance. Based on the past experiences, we know that components fail after a predefined period of life, and based on that a schedule can be made and maintenance can be carried out. And last but not the least is the corrective maintenance, where the products, components and machineries have failed and they need to be restored and repaired so that they can function in a proper fashion. Next please. So, talking specifically about repair and maintenance in mining and power sectors, because we are talking at a forum where people from nearby region have come, and we are looking for opportunities in this area. So, this area is basically occupied by industries which are involved in mining sector, mining के काफ़ी equipments हैं, plus power sectors के equipments हैं. So, in both these sectors, whether it is mining or power, the equipments are subjected to excessive continuous working, generally 24/7 without stoppage. The loads that are applied on those machines are harsh, they are impact loads, sudden loads, excessive loads, thermal shocks, stress corrosion cracking, and these components, many of the components, if they fail or they require any predictive corrective maintenance, they have to be handled on shop, on site. At most they can be brought to a base workshop or a main workshop, but generally it is not possible to ship those equipments back to the original equipment manufacturer to get it repaired and again brought to the place. So, harsh environment often leads to frequent breakdowns and failures. These breakdowns are very expensive, both in terms of repair of these components are also expensive. At the same time, because of the failures, there is you can say a disturbance in the regular working of those equipments, and these shutdowns are often very expensive. So, therefore, there is an urgent need for repair that has to be sometimes performed on site or in the proximity of the site where the failures have occurred, to ensure that the equipments and components are available 24/7. It is important to note over here is that any thoughtless repair, if it is attempted, not only it will not rectify the problem, but sometimes it can make a component which is now, it was possible to repair it, but now it has become unserviceable. So, this is what currently the issue and the problem is, and this problem offers lot of opportunities. Next. So, welding maintenance can be preventive or corrective. When we want to prevent failures from occurring, what we can do is that those components, those equipments that we have purchased, to increase the life of those components, they can be activities like cladding, hard facing that can be done on those components, so that the life of the component can be increased. Now, here this is a tremendous opportunity, because if you look at components like mining equipments, they are continuously being used in environments where they get worn out, they get corroded, and if these components are before only cladded with a layer of material which is more hard, more wear resistant or more corrosion resistant, then the component life can be increased. These processes are again coming under the category of welding. Some of them require expensive equipments, but many of those processes can be done using equipments which are pretty cheap, and they are used already for welding application. Similarly, repair welding is another technique which has to be used often, and it has to be done in a very thoughtful and in a manner so that it can actually help the industries where this has to be used. So, based on this we can say there is I have categorized it into 4 different categories where there is tremendous opportunity for investors. First, I will talk about the fabrication of the electrodes. Then I will talk about the establishment of welders training institutes. Then I will talk about possibilities of establishing weld characterization and testing facilities. And lastly, I will talk a little bit about upgradation of IITs and development of skill development centers. in the nearby place. Next. So, welding electrodes, I have made extensive survey, I have visited industries, I have seen it is extensively used for many repair operations in both power industries as well as mining industries. These electrodes are consumed in very large quantity because most of the repair and most of the work, welding work that has been carried out is relying on these welding electrodes, and it has been estimated that even globally the contribution of welding electrode as a consumable in welding is 40%. But if we look at the nearby region and the nearby industries, this reliance on stick electrode or electrodes of welding is still higher, something like 60% or so. So, this offers a tremendous opportunity where we can establish industries which can manufacture electrodes. As far as the shielded metal arc welding electrode is concerned, it is a very simple consumable. It has just two parts, as you can see in this figure. So, there is a metal rod and it is coated with a layer of flux. Any manufacturing industry that has to establish just need to initially procure the rod and coat it with a layer of flux. These two simple components and this simple activity can lead to an establishment of a welding electrode. Now, why I am emphasizing this fact is that the electrodes that are used in these sectors, power sectors and mining sectors, they are not ordinary electrodes, and often these are not available nationally. These are specialized electrodes. There are lot of industries within India which are manufacturing electrodes that are used for various different applications. Those may not work well for these sectors. So, what we have to do is, or what the opportunity lies is, that we can develop industries, small industries. The investment cost may be as low as 15 to 20 lakhs. The production capacity can be enhanced very easily and the profitability index is very high. The only skill or the only scientific knowledge that is needed is what should be the composition of the flux, what type of electrode wire the metal wire or rod we have to procure. These are not rocket sciences. We are there to help you, we can help you also. There are already standards available, there are books available, there are experts available. Definitely IIT BHU can help anybody who is interested in that, and with that little technical knowledge, this industry, small industry can be established and they can cater the needs, or you can say cater the special needs of the nearby industries, particularly mining and power industries. Next please. Now, I have been associated with welding and I have visited many places across India. For welding jobs, we recruit welders. Often these welders are trained in those particular industries, let's mining industry or power industries, to perform the job fairly well. But for critical applications, it is often mandated that the welders should be well trained, but more importantly, they should be qualified and tested by agencies which offer certifications to the welders. A welder who has been certified by these agencies will have lot of demand, not only in that industry, not only it will improve the quality of the welds that are produced, not only it will improve the quality of the repair, but the employability of the welder will also tremendously increase. So, if you go in particularly in western part of India and southern part of India, there are a lot of institutes which offer help to the welders, and in turn they can also make profits. So, welding training and certification institutes, which are very small institutes, not as big as an engineering college, just a small institute where there are some minimum facilities. Let's say a training institute for shielded metal arc welding process has to be established. So, a certain number of welding stations, a certified welding inspector has to be hired, and that institute can be started. The institute will provide training. Of course, they can charge a nominal fee, and after their welders have gone through an extensive training, they can contact organizations like American Welding Society, Indian Institute of Welding. The people from those organizations will come, test the welders both in their theory as well as in their practice, and then offer a certificate which will make the employability of those welders, or they will increase the employability of those welders tremendously. The cost that has to be borne, that can be taken in form of a fee from those welders, and successfully profitable institutes can be run on this mode. I have given the names, the websites of these organizations like Indian Institute of Welding and American Welding Society. They offer certificates which are well recognized, and they are very much sought after by welders. Next please. Now when we look at these expensive equipments that are used in mining and power equipments, there are bound to be some failures, and of course corrective actions in form of repair welding has to be carried out. Now during the repair process, as well as to ascertain why that failures have occurred, lot of scientific data needs to be collected in form of testings. There are private institutions, particularly in larger cities, which has to be approached and which offer these facilities. They have got trained professionals and those equipments that are needed to test the material, to perform corrosion testing, to investigate why a component has failed, and to offer some special testings. Now after a component has been repaired, or there is a component that has been fabricated in-house, there is always chances that there may be defects present inside the material. On the top part, the machines will actually destroy the material and then tell you whether it was good or bad. Then there are other sets of techniques that are available which can actually, without destroying the component that has been made or repaired, tell you whether it is good or bad. These are known as non-destructive testing facilities. So private entities can be established which can provide this service at a cost, wherein they can test the components to look for any defect that may be present, or whether the repair work has been done properly or not, or some crack or some failure is likely to occur in a component or not. Some of those facilities which will be very useful are ultrasonic testing facility, X-ray radiography, gamma radiography, magnetic particle inspection. Of course, little bit of expenditure will be required in procuring these facilities, and the people or the persons who have to handle these equipments also need to be trained and certified from ASNT or American Society of Non-Destructive Testing. ASNT level 2 people need to be recruited in these organizations, and these facilities can be provided. Similarly, the electrodes that are manufactured, and I am hoping that many new electrode manufacturing companies will come up, or these industries are procuring electrodes, facilities can be developed wherein the electrodes can be tested whether they are suitable for certain applications, whether they are as per the norms, whether they are suiting those these requirements, or they are conforming to the standards as per our order or not. So these type of testing facilities can be developed. Similarly, welding equipments are, particularly arc welding equipments, are pretty simple components, and any breakdown in those components can be very easily handled, because the parts that generally get damaged in these welding equipments, these parts are inexpensive, and generally when the welding equipment fails, it does not mean that the entire equipment has failed, only some components have failed. So an institute can be established where testing, repair and rectification and standardization of the welding facilities and equipments can be carried out. Next please. Now another very important area where I would like to talk and where people have to think, particularly the MSMEs who are already having their enterprise in this place, and similarly the other big organizations have to think, is the upgradation of the ITIs and setting up of new ITIs which actually cater the needs of the nearby industries. The curriculum, the facilities that are generally present in ITIs need to be upgraded so that people who are coming out after graduating from those ITIs, they have the necessary skills that will be required for the industries which are going to hire them. So this is another opportunity where curriculum, with a new curriculum, with a new course structure, ITIs can be established and other existing IITs need to be upgraded. These facilities that can be augmented in the ITIs, they can also be used as a tinkering lab or a prototype lab where any new idea, any new development that is coming to the mind of an existing manufacturing MSMEs, they can be tried out in these upgraded ITIs and this can be used to that extent. So that's all from my side. I have a small 2-3 slides that I would like to quickly go through. Next please. Okay, so as I have already told you that we belong to Indian Institute of Technology BHU Varanasi. So recently we have signed an MOU with Ministry of MSME, okay, Ministry of Central Government Ministry of MSME, New Delhi, wherein we are an implementation agency of a scheme of central government known as Design Clinic. So we are an implementation agency and I'll tell you how we can help. This scheme basically is for those MSMEs that are involved in manufacturing sector. This is not for any MSME, only those MSMEs that are involved in the manufacturing sector. And these MSMEs, if they have got any design related problem or they would like to develop any new product, they can approach us and together with IIT BHU, we can put up a joint proposal that will be sent to the Ministry of MSME, New Delhi. Next please. So as I have mentioned, the idea is that any new product or improvement of the product, if it is needed by a manufacturing MSMEs and it requires investment, that can be handled through this scheme. So this scheme basically provides assistance to the manufacturing MSMEs in form of support from Ministry of MSMEs to the extent of 20 lakhs. So 20 lakhs rupees can be provided to the manufacturing MSMEs for any of these projects, provided the industry also shows their commitment by putting up 25% from their side. Together with IIT BHU, we can submit a proposal. And next please. Next. Next. So Government of India share will be 75% and it can, the extent of help can go up to 40 lakhs. This will be in terms of expenditure that is borne in coming up with a new product or overcoming the existing problems faced by a manufacturing MSME. The good thing is that the 25% share that the industry has to put, that can come also in form of labor, raw material, design consultation charge or any other charge that is justified. So many a times any bought out equipment that will be later used in the industry can also be put as a share from the MSME. It should not be necessarily hardcore money. It can be in form of equipment also. The Government of India funding will come to the institute, and we will be providing you with the money that is required for whatever stages. In different stages we will be providing you the money, and ultimately when the product or the problem is solved, the respective manufacturing MSME will be benefited from this. There is also a scheme that I would like to share over here. Sometimes the manufacturing MSMEs, next please. Next slide. Sometimes manufacturing MSMEs also face small problems on which our students may be interested in putting their effort. We have got very talented students at IIT BHU. They are the brightest students from the country, and they can also take up small projects which are known as student design project, which will again be funded by the Ministry of MSME New Delhi, and we will be the implementation agency. So this is another two schemes that I wanted to talk to you about. If you have any queries, I can take up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insight. I would like to call upon Dr. Meghanshu Vashisht on stage, and I request GMDIC, Shri A.R. Mansoori, to felicitate our guest with mementos. Next speaker to honor us with his presence is Dr. Pawan Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, IIT BHU. Our distinguished guest has completed his PhD in the area of additive manufacturing, 3D printing from IIT Delhi. He has more than 7 years of teaching and research experience. He has 11 international journal papers and 4 international conference papers to his credit. He has 2 Indian patents granted to his credit. I consider it my great honor to welcome Dr. Pawan Sharma to enlighten us on the topic, investment opportunities in the field of reverse engineering. Sir. Welcome, sir. The stage is all yours.
So, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk on a very latest topic in the field of engineering, which is basically reverse engineering. We were, all were doing things, a lot of things in forward engineering path, but now there is a tremendous change in the scenario in the engineering field, where we are talking about rapid product development, and reverse engineering and integration of reverse engineering with 3D printing plays a significant role in that rapid product development. So my lecture will focus on the investment opportunities in this area. So basically reverse engineering, from the name itself, it might be clear to all of you that reverse engineering means that the product is existing in front of us, and then we go for redesigning of that product, or we we are trying to develop a documentation for that product. It's actually not limited to that only. This is what all the people all around globe which do not have the knowledge of reverse engineering, they think about reverse engineering is limited to only the product is obsolete or it does not exist, the parts, so we can reverse engineering. No, it is beyond that. We can also develop a novel product also using reverse engineering, and I will showcase those things also. So basically, why we require reverse engineering? For competitive benchmarking, for a product in the market, we can provide a low-cost product in the competitive world. For smart manufacturing, which is a need of an hour, IoT-based, artificial intelligence-based manufacturing, we can use reverse engineering to achieve this smart manufacturing. Then, as all of us know that reverse engineering is for obsolete part development, design development. If the part does not exist, so we can develop the design of that part if it is in front of us. Then documentation of design. This is very important, and I will come to it later on also when I'll discuss the prospects of reverse engineering, design documentation. Then it can also be used for characterization of the samples. It can also be used for inspection as well as quality control also. In fact, it is in automotive industries, people are using it largely for these activities. For product improvement, in the existing design, we can make improvement using reverse engineering. For animation and virtual reality, we can use the reverse engineering designs to create the simulated environment for our engineering purposes. Like for example, in coal fields, we can develop a simulated environment of a whole coal field using reverse engineering, and we can identify the bottlenecks that we might face in the real situation. Then process simulation, like in case of biomedical industries, for a surgery, which is a very complicated task. So we can use reverse engineering to in fact simulate the complete surgery before even we can perform it on a real patient. So this is where reverse engineering can help us. So now what is the current scenario? Current scenario is the conventional product development cycle that we follow. It initiates with conceptual design. It is a serial type of thing, that design, then prototyping, then manufacturing, and then if some failure occurs, we again go to this conceptual designing. So this is no longer exists now. People are moving forward, way ahead. That is rapid product development. That means all the things that exist in serial production cycle, they have to be done simultaneously or parallelly. And this is known as rapid product development. So we can do designing and simultaneously we can also think of manufacturing, like using additive manufacturing technologies or 3D printers. So we can see what are the problems and we can identify those problems. So it results in time and cost saving. Basically the path of product development cycle using reverse engineering. So as I've told you, this is the conventional way that we are doing, till date we are doing it. Concept, then we go for manufacturing, then we go for testing of the part, then real world testing we do of the part, then we find out the results, and if the results are not as per our standards, we again go to the design phase. So it's a very time consuming task. It takes a lot of time and money is invested in this. So to overcome this problem, reverse engineering can play a significant role. How? From the concept itself, we can go for simulation of the process. Instead of manufacturing, we can simulate the process. We can optimize the design. Then we can identify, analyze the results. And then we go for design loop. We again go for design loop before manufacturing. So we are no longer spending any amount in manufacturing. Manufacturing cost is very high. And then we go for manufacturing. So the chances of failure of a product is very, very, very much minimized in this case. So conventional way, many cost and time expensive design loops are there. In fact, in rapid prototyping or reverse engineering method, the design loops exist even before manufacturing is happened. Okay? So it results in cost saving as well as time savings. So what actually reverse engineering is? So basically I'll showcase this with the help of this slide. What is the generic process of reverse engineering? It initiates with scanning of a product. If the product is in front of me, I will scan it. Like I will scan my whole body. Okay, it is possible. There are startups, in India who do reverse engineering for, artifacts also. So I can reverse engineer, I can scan my body, and then I can develop the point cloud data using the reverse, 3D scanning or whatever way of methodology I can use. So I can develop point cloud data. I can process that point cloud data. The data can be in the point cloud form or it can be in the form of scans. We all have seen X-rays in our life. X-ray images. So that X-rays image is nothing but it's a single scan. In reverse engineering, we have multiple number of those X-rays. and we can stitch them together to develop a 3D model. Model is developed using a triangulation method. There are a number of algorithms. So a computer science engineer is required here. So triangulation problem, we use triangulation to develop our STL model, to develop, CAD-based surfaces like, B-spline curves or non-uniform B-spline curves, or we can go for direct, 3D printing, as well as we can use these for inspection also. So this is the basic generic, flow cycle of a reverse engineering process. These are some of the technology. So the most popular one is laser-based reverse, 3D scanning, computer, CMM machines. Then we have computed tomography machines, CT scan machines, MRI machines. So these are some popular machines in reverse engineering field. If somebody wishes to get the details of these, they can always contact me. Okay. So now let us understand the prospect of this technology. This is about the basics of what reverse engineering is, what it can do for us, what people are doing all over the world. Let us see that and understand the importance of this technology using some case studies. So this is the first case study which showcased the prospects of reverse engineering in automated component repair. And this happens in almost all the engineering field. There is a component failure which occurs. Okay. So here you can see there's a component failure. So component failure, there is a damage to a failure. We go for reverse engineering of this component. We have developed the point cloud data, which is shown at the bottom right, and then we can use additive manufacturing techniques. So this technology is a hybrid reverse engineering and additive manufacturing machine which was developed, and then we can directly print the metal part on the same component which was failed. What we do currently, we replace that component. No, we cannot replace it. It's very costly. What we can do, we can repair it. In the same part, we can do the repair. And we can utilize that component for our engineering use. Again, to see a repair, this is a case study of repair of a compressor blade. So here there is a turbine blade which encountered some damage or wear and tear. So you can see some wear and tear in the component, compressor blade. So we do reverse engineering. We develop the point cloud data. We process that point cloud data. You can see the damage model is shown here. So some part is missing. Again, we replace this turbine, or we do welding and lot of stuff. We spend lot of time in this. Our machine, the time is spent, our machine remains still for a large number of days because of this. What we can do, go for reverse engineering. We can develop tool paths for this, and then we can go for direct 3D printing, metal-based 3D printing. Look, we have prepared the same component by 3D printing. Metal-based 3D printing technique, basically direct energy deposition technique has been used here, and we can finish it. We can use the same component for further use. So it will save the time as well as cost. Again, replacement of a failed part. So this is the gasket which has been failed in some engineering operation. So we go for replacement of these gaskets. These small components cost us a lot of money and time. Again, I am repeating. Okay. So what we can do, we can again reverse engineering this gasket. Now some of the part of this gasket is missing, completely missing. So what we can do, we can extrapolate the design. We can extrapolate the existing design to develop the complete CAD model. And this CAD model can be printed, or it can be machined using CNC machines by development of the tool parts, and we can have a gasket with us, and we can use this gasket for engineering application. Again, replacement of failed part. This is a gear which failed during some engineering operation. This is the process of reverse engineering. Point cloud generation, mesh generation, solid model development, then 3D printed part, the gear that we have reverse engineered. Finally, we have used this 3D printed gear which we have obtained using reverse engineering model in an engineering application. This all is what people believe that reverse engineering help them, like repair. No, it can do a lot more than this. What it can do? It can develop a customized product for us also. How it can develop a customized product? This is a case study where a helmet has to be designed based on the structure of the human body. Okay, customized helmet, which will fit exactly to the size of the human head. Okay, so reverse engineering, you can see the steps are involved. Okay, the point cloud and all those things. So curvature has been modeled using reverse engineering. And then in the curvature, we will use CAD model development software to develop a design of a helmet. And this helmet has been fabricated. This is a highly customized helmet, and you can do the improvement, you can add accessories to it, you can add cameras and all those things into it. Okay? So this is reverse engineering for a customized part development or a new product development. Again, for new product development, this is an example of a orthosis. Okay? In biomedical industry, reverse engineering is used a lot now. For implants, for orthosis, for prosthetics, it's used a lot. So this is one of the example for that, because our right hand teeth design is completely different from the center teeth design, and whole body design of one human is completely different from another human. So reverse engineering can play a significant role there. Okay? Again, this is a customized implant study. This is a study which has been carried out by me only with the collaboration of AIIMS New Delhi. There is a patient who encountered an accident in the skull. Currently what we do, we fix the plate. The plate size are standard, and we put whole high weight plate on the top of a human skull. It creates a lot of infection and problem. So what we can do instead, we can develop a customized design. Whatever the cavity is, jitna cavity ka bhag hai, bas usi ko hi aap model kare, and it will be tight fit into that cavity. Okay? So this type of implant will not require any screws. One screw costs us 10, 15, 20,000, depends on the material that we use. If we are going to use titanium implants, it will cost us a lot. So this is one of the solutions for reverse engineering for development of a customized models. Okay? So you can imagine, this is biomedical study, but you can always implement it for your own applications. Okay? Therefore, I have put in these case studies. And then it can also be used for morphological characterization, like components which are very difficult to characterize. For example, casting product. There are a lot of defects in casting products. Okay? So automobile industry, they use reverse engineering to identify the porosity, to identify the micro cracks, okay, using reverse engineering. So this is again a metal foam component which is considered to be very complex shape, and if I ask you to get me the volume of this fabricated sample, it is very difficult to obtain the actual volume. We can always say this is the ideal volume, but actual volume if I want, I cannot get from any characterization method. But using reverse engineering, using such methods, like this is metal component, then metal CT scan image, X-ray image, and then the model, and this is the reconstructed model. So using this reconstructed model, we can get the porosity in the component, we can identify the volume of the component, the surface area of the component, actual size. In fact, we can use this CAD model for finite element analysis directly. So it will give much more reliable results as compared to the ideal CAD models that we develop for FEM. Generally what we do develop the ideal CAD models. So they will give results, but that will not close to the reality. But if we are using the reverse engineering CAD model, they can give us ideal results. So what are the opportunities and what are the challenges in this field? So let me showcase some challenges in various engineering fields. So first of the challenges, very higher lead time for part replacement. Then requirements of large amount of inventories and all those things. High downtime due to difficulties in procurement of these spare parts and all those things. Machine remains idle for 10, 15 or months. Okay, and those machines are very cost expensive. Then there are very difficulty in the improvement of the existing designs or existing machinery. We are using old machines and their efficacy is very low. So how we can improve it? These are the challenges. And then there is a huge amount of lack of skill set in reverse engineering field currently in India. So what are the solution? Development of digital inventory. This is one word which is very powerful, and I'm very much sure that this will change the scenario of engineering field in the coming future. Instead of maintaining the whole physical inventory, we can have a digital inventory of our parts. Instead of having 500 or 1000 crores of physical inventory, we are having only CAD models of our parts. And those CAD models on demand, we can print it or we can fabricate it. So we are no longer handling large amount of inventories. Okay, so this is the requirement of digital inventory. Then technology to provide spare parts on demand, like 3D printing, additive manufacturing, or 5-axis CNC machines or 10-axis CNC machines, large scale machines. Then ability to achieve custom part modification. As I've showcased you, custom part modification can be achieved. Okay. Then development of high-end systematic reverse engineering solution with integration with additive manufacturing techniques. Okay, so it will give us high amount of we can achieve those challenges easily if we are having systematic integrated product development process using reverse engineering and 3D printing. And then we want training programs so that our engineers, they get trained in this field. So technologies which are commonly used to achieve these, the challenges to our 3D scanning machines, CMM machines, CT scan MRI machine, additive manufacturing systems, CNC machine systems, and softwares and algorithms. Okay, there are the software like Mimix, Polyworks, which works perfectly for these types of techniques. Now let us think what are the business opportunities in this area. Okay, the business opportunity which lies is we want a center for reverse engineering, at least in India. At least the location such as, this Singrauli, it will help with, different industries a lot. And what this center can do for us, it can give us a digital inventory. Okay, it can not only give us digital inventory, but it can also provide support to the local vendors also. Okay, so digital inventory it will provides. Then training, as I've told you, local vendor training, their certification. We train the small industries in the area of reverse engineering. We can provide the facilities for these reverse engineering, the local vendors also. Advanced designing, so we can do advanced designing, we can develop complex shapes, we can improve the existing design also. Then research and development, this is very important because reverse engineering area still is in development phase. So R&D becomes very important in this area. And R&D can be specific to an application also, or it can be general also. Then rapid manufacturing of a product. Like I've told you, integration of reverse engineering with additive manufacturing or CNC technologies can result in rapid manufacturing of a product. So we can provide spare parts on demand. Okay. And then certification and testing. This is what we are lacking with. We don't have enough certification standards or testing standards for reverse engineered products. So we need to establish a center which can provide such things. So coming to IIT BHU point, we are having metal 3D printer, we are having polymer 3D printer with us, we are having some 3D scanner with us also. So we can provide some solution in that regard, being a knowledge partner with NCL. So you can always reach to us in development of such systems. Also we can handle some projects also so that you get an idea of how this technology can help you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable insight. I request GMDIC Shri A.K. Mansoori, sir, to felicitate our guest with a memento. Now we'll have a lunch break of 30 minutes. I would request all our guests to be gathered here after the lunch as we have very interesting sessions lying ahead. The technical session will continue after the lunch. To name a few of the speakers that we have after lunch is Professor P.K. Mishra, Dr. Anindya Sinha, Mr. Mukesh Mathur, Dr. Sumedh Singh Parihar. We also have with us Dr. Vipul Deka, who will be joining us virtually, Dr. Neeru Bhushan, Dr. Manoj Kumar Singh, and Dr. Ajit Kumar Mishra. Thank you.
जैसे अभी तक के जितने भी सेशंस हुए हैं वैसा ही लंच के बाद हम लोग एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं. जैसे अभी प्रोफेसर पवन शर्मा सर ने बताया कि सिंगरौली रीजन के लिए रिवर्स इंजीनियरिंग का इम्पोर्टेंस क्या है. मेनली जब हम बात करते हैं, जैसे इन्वेंट्री का सर बताए थे कि आने वाले टाइम में डिजिटल इन्वेंट्री का जो कॉन्सेप्ट है उसका इम्पोर्टेंस था. प्लस हमारे यहाँ पे जो भी स्पेयर पार्ट्स प्रोक्योरमेंट होता है, जब उसकी लीड टाइम की बात करते हैं, क्या हमें कुछ कस्टमाइज पार्ट्स चाहिए तो इन सब में रिवर्स इंजीनियरिंग फ्यूचर है और मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का वो पार्ट है। उसी तरीके से लंच के बाद जो हम फोकस कर रहे हैं उसमें प्रोफेसर पी के मिश्रा सर का लेक्चर रहेगा कि स्ट्रैटेजिक जो बिजनेस इनिशिएटिव्स हैं उस पर हम कैसे काम करें। डॉक्टर अनिंद्या सिन्हा सर का रहेगा कि कोल सेक्टर के अंदर क्या क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हैं आने वाले टाइम में। डॉक्टर परिहार सर का जिप्सम पे रहेगा कि थर्मल पावर प्लांट्स के फर्दर जो बिजनेस अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ हैं जिप्सम में उस पर क्या है। और डॉक्टर नीरू मैम का रहेगा कि सिंगरौली जैसे क्षेत्र में एग्रीकल्चर में क्या क्या स्कोप है। तो ये सब प्रेजेंटेशंस आफ्टर लंच रहेंगी। तो हम आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं कि विद इन 30 मिनट्स काइंडली आप लंच ले लें और तुरंत उसके बाद हम नेक्स्ट सेशंस पे आगे बढ़ेंगे। इसके साथ एक रिक्वेस्ट है कि हमारे एक पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं नीलम मैम, उनका कोई की यहाँ पे जस्ट गिर गया है, तो अगर किसी को मिले तो आप कंट्रोल रूम में दे सकते हैं। थैंक यू।